We
You
go.
can die at any time.
Mark built a good raise too, kicker.
You see Mark is building to get a raise.
Okay, we're returned from our structure fire. We're going back to our forcible entry class. As you can see, we're at the same spot where the last video stopped at. And here we go, resume.
Gotta hit play.
I did.
Gotta hit play.
Channel of the door. So every time that door locks, it locks the channel here, and there's a pin that goes down into the threshold. So if you were to walk up and use irons, like you normally would on an outward swinging door, you would actually be forcing it from the furthest point where the resistance is. Okay, let's talk about a couple different forcible entry techniques. The first thing that we want to start with is the amount of damage that we cause to a building or a door should directly relate to the type of emergency that we're going to. If this is just an alarm and for whatever reason we need to get in here, and we break all this glass and destroy this guy's door, it's not going to be relative to the type of emergency we're going to do. We might want to take a little more time, causing a little less damage. So one of the techniques that causes the least amount of damage is a through lock technique. We have a K2 on all the trucks, and it's a simple tool. The sleeve comes over the cylinder here, you insert your adze, you secure the K-tool over the cylinder, and then you pull down or pull up, and what happens is this part right here actually gets removed from the door, and you have a little tool that comes with the kit, and you can reach in there and unlock the door. Okay? All they have to do at this point is just go and replace this lock. Another way, if it's panic hardware, most panic hardware has to be installed 36 inches from the ground and 44 inches high. A lot of us carry a tool that I don't have on me right now, and it's a wire tool that you can actually slip through these two door frames, reach around, and you can pull back, and it will actually release the panic hardware. Panic hardware only needs 10 pounds of pressure for it to release. Those are two through the lock methods. Now, if we're going to use the irons, it's an outward swinging door, so with an outward swinging door, we always want to start with the adze and the iron. As far as the gap goes, if you look right here, there's a pretty good gap in between these two doors for us to stick the adze in. We would stick the adze in as close to the locking mechanism as possible, pull down and towards our body, and that deadbolt should pop right open. If this is panic hardware, we can use that same technique. With starting with our adze, we would just start higher. And we would start up here, or we might even start right up here at the top. The same thing down here. We would bring our adze down here to create the leverage, or we can even put our adze down here, lift up on the adze, and the pin will actually pop out. Another technique, which is kind of our least preferred technique, because we lose the ability to control the building with ventilation, is actually breaking the glass. If we have to break the glass, and it's plate glass, we want to break this glass, we want to remove all of the large pieces out of the way so it doesn't cut the engine, along with if it's tempered too. We need to remember to remove the handles on both sides, so it's somewhat of an easy way in and an easy way out. If it's safety glass, we can make a small cut about 3 feet long right down the middle that will take out the strength of that window or that glass. We can use our pick, bury our pick in the glass, and actually pop it right out of the frame. It works pretty easy. Another technique that we have with the circ saw, it's just another option, is we can actually come in here and we can cut this deadbolt right here with the circ saw blade. One of the things that you've got to be cautious about that is if this gap is not big enough, you can make it bigger with either inserting a wedge up top or down below. But if this gap is too small, the door is going to get caught on the actual blade of the circ saw. Okay, so that's a brief description of this door, how it's made, the two different style of locking mechanisms that we have, which are a mortise lock, like the one we have here, or panic hardware lock, which is locked on the bottom and the top, and you can tell because there's a rectangular guard around the cylinder lock. We've also talked about a few different techniques to get in here, through the lock, using the irons, and even the circ saw if we have to. One technique is not better than the other, it just depends on the type of emergency that you're at.
There's one simple hearing hack anyone can use to improve their hearing.
Yes, Steve.
You didn't like that?
Huh?
I'm not gonna put spoons on my ear now.
I would hope not.
Almost overnight. Did you know that
Hey, this is Tilden from Truck 10. Today we're going to talk to you
We're done
about
listening to you, right? We're done with this.
talk about.
We got one last video that I think this was a inward-facing door. It's just a different technique. And this guy, I've watched many of his videos. He's actually pretty decent. They're from New York Fire. Any halogen bar right up on the neck. Wasn't the same video I watched yesterday, but and we'll go back to the PowerPoint. And we're going to go over overhead doors now. On the overhead doors, it's your different type of garage doors. Like I said, we got a lot of these storage facilities that are going in, and they've got that metal style door. So those are going to tend to be cut with saws. But as you can see here, they got one style that they cut an opening, they lifted the door, and then they attached a vice grips to the rail. You want to do some type of, whether it be vice grips on the rail or even our Kodiak system, put that in there to help keep that door. You don't want that door to close when somebody has gone in it. And but so you want to be able to prop it open. Block all overhead doors in the upper open position to prevent injury to the firefighters if that built-in control device fails. And they're talking like your cables and stuff that hold that door up. If something fails on that, you definitely don't want that door to close. Because a lot of times too, if they're a heavy wooden door or an industrial door and those cables fail, you can't hardly get the doors up without that assist cable. Forcing fire doors. Fire doors are designed to cover doorway openings and rated separation walls to prevent spread of fire from one building to another. Sliding, swinging, or overhead rolling varieties. Normally they're found inside of structures separating areas, enclosing hazardous process areas or storage areas, protecting means of egress. Exterior fire doors are usually found where a structure must be protected from adjacent structures. They're probably going to be locked, and forcible entry should be similar to an overhead or a sliding door. Interior fire doors, they're manually or automatically activated when fire was detected. And that's what I was talking about earlier. They'll have a magnet that holds the door open, and if fire is detected and the alarm goes off, it's going to release that magnet. That way that door automatically closes. Hospitals, you see a lot in the hospital hallways, those are the same type of doors. Only operates when there is fire. Will not lock in place when closed. Forcing fire doors. Wedges can be used to block when doors open. When passing through an opening that a fire door protects, lock that door open to prevent it from blocking egress or cutting off your hose line. Part of the structure's protection system, it may need to be forced, positioned, or to create separations with higher than normal fire resistance ratings. Leaving fire doors in place is preferable. Use caution when propping open or forcing because it changes the flow path. How should firefighters treat fire doors during forcible entry operations?
Like any other door?
What's that?
Like any other doors? door.
Not necessarily. You want to keep them, controlled,
Yes.
because that's what they're there for your fire ops. Now, I'm gonna use this building as an example. Do we have any fire doors in this building? I don't think so. Anything that's got a glass door window in it won't be considered fire rated. Is that true, Kyle? The only one I can think of would be going from the bay to the crew quarters over there, because it's a solid door.
And the crew quarters door.
Yes,
Side of that to the right.
yeah, that would be true. No, because that's a wooden door.
Oh, it's wooden.
Yeah, that would be a wooden, that one going into the crew quarters, but the one coming from the bay to the crew quarters is a solid steel door.
Or, is there a window going from the bay to admin?
Yes,
There is a window?
Yes, okay.
yeah, all these doors on this side have some kind of window in them.
Yeah, from outside, the crew quarters is window 2, but bay to crew quarters is.
Right.
That's probably one.
That's all the content. Is there any questions, everything we went over? Is it fire rated, Steve?
It doesn't say heat treated.
Okay, I didn't know. Does everybody got any questions, Ted?
We got a lot of them.
Okay.
Negative ghost drive.
Do we need to take a break before we, take our test?
No, I'm great.
Okay.
Let's do it. It's fresh in my mind.
There we go.
Do it.
If you write your name on the list and the date, says, October 28th.
That was not.
29th, you are correct. I've got the day off. I didn't,
It was like, no, it's not.
wait a minute.
It's cool. I already asked that question.
That means I did my paperwork wrong yesterday too then.
I knew I should have sat next to Greg.
I'm left-handed. How are you gonna? Okay, fine. I won't ever help you again, Scooby. We're done.
It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a 10-question multiple choice. If you get any questions, though, feel free to reach out.
I think that we better. I had it over here earlier. Skip that one.
Do your own thing, Steve.
No, not in there, bro.
No, really? Give me your info.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll grade him and then we'll go over them privately together after the practice.
You can tell me that failed now.
Did you do the whole side?
Yes.
Okay,
That size.
Making sure you did.
Wait, there is a side.
Shh.
Sorry about that. Good catch though.
Did
I was gonna
finish
wait
both
till
sides?
Assistant
You
director.
took five. Okay, we're still going.
Nope, you're fine.
That didn't hurt. Teacher, see, try to hurt me. You made of chocolate and caramel crush.
Me? Yeah.
Your writing's a little scribbly.
Just a little bit.
That's why I had to ask.
My writing is terrible.
We'll go over this when everybody's done. I'll just figure I'll let you look at it.
I should have been a doctor.
Doctor, can't say right. Doctor. I told you your son. You should have been here. Yeah, right. That's how you can-
Just read over that, we'll go over that in a few minutes.
It's how I did that call playing. You would have treated me poorly, and we would have had several happy children. We're talking about how I should have been fighting, but how you and I would have been tested for each other. I have zero way to prove that could happen, but. Did you just eat all of the Snickers? Did you understand? He's trying to back on his winter weight. Back on his winter weight. He's got more shorts than he charges. He's always look as it is.
All right. We'll go over the test privately after we do our practical exam also. That's part of my instruction. So the our next step would be, does everybody need to take a break before we go any further, or are we good?
No, we haven't marked.
Let's get this knocked out. All right, so For today's class, we're going to do forcible entry, skill sheet number 25. Okay, our skill objective, we're going to force entry into a structure given the PPE, tools, and an assignment so that the tools are used as designed, the barriers removed, and the opening is in a safe condition and ready for entry. The instructor, which is myself, shall provide or door pop or actual entryways into a building for the student to force entry through. That student shall select the proper forcible entry tool and proper carrying it to the proper doorway. The student uses the techniques listed below and with assistance of another firefighter will force the door open. On an inward swinging door, we're going to make sure we all wear appropriate PPE. Ted, like I said, we'll do a modification with you being light duty. We're going to choose the correct tools required to complete the task and properly carries them to the top door. Correctly identifies the type of door to be forced and tries the door first. Places the fork of the prying tool just above or below the lock with the bevel side of the fork against the door. Gives the command to strike the prying tool when ready. Repossesses the prying tool as necessary in between strikes. Then we'll make sure the fork end has penetrated between the door and the door jamb and that approximately 3/4 of the fork end is extended past the door. Then you're going to exert pressure on prying the tool toward the door, forcing it open. Outward facing door. We're going to wear PPE. We're going to choose the correct tools required to complete the task and properly carries them to the door. Correctly identifies the type of door to be forced and tries that door first. Places the prying tool just above or below the lock with the adze end against the door. Gives the command to strike the prying tool when ready. Pries down and out, applying force to the prying tool to separate the door from the jamb and then opens the door. Anybody got any questions?
No, sir.
If you at the very top there, right, it's a very small line there, you can barely read it, but above the black bold box says student name. If you guys could write your name on those sheets and then pass them back into me, because I'll keep them while we're doing the practical. It's like I said, it's very small.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I said, it's very small. They give you enough room to write it, but the name
I'm a recovering firefighter. I'm still learning how to write.
Steve, you got it okay? Ted's got it okay?
That's a good stash of stickers going there. Okay, we'll pass the paper to you. Yeah.
Jeff, hey Steve, Jeff Gordon just took the lead.
That poor cat, he goes, look at it, right?
Isn't Jeff Gordon the one that's dead?
Oh.
I'll take your trash.
Where is Jeff?
Oh, I got
I
rainbow
got
card.
the red and red.
Over good.
Because, you know, it's
Who's in the lead?
Rudy.
Wait,
Oh, you really not watching the race?
He's doing St. Louis City things. You know.
Hamlin is 1.359 seconds behind him.
Okay,
No, Lincoln is.
if everybody wants to step outside and get in your gear, we'll get ready to do our practical.
Hamlin was. Yeah, Hamlin was in the lead.